I can see at the end of the season, whoever has a better record, that's what it's going to be.
Lakers, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Rondo. Clippers, Jerry West, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George.
East Clippers. Are you an idiot thinking I'm going to pick the Lakers?
Come on. Who's going to win? Who can play? Who's got a game? Who's in shape? We're going to find out. That's what ESPN is all about.
By the way, guys, you know that Bill Walton really got dressed up for the ESPYs because instead of a T-shirt, he wore a golf shirt with a collar on it. There you go. One of the most important things we do here at ESPN, seriously, is support the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Over the years, we've asked for your help in the fight against this disease, and today, we just want to stop and say thank you. As a result of your commitment to beating cancer, we have helped raise, guys, this is incredible, $100 million for the V Foundation. You've heard Robin Roberts say that money has went to help save her life, and there are so many people who can say that as well. That is because of all of you. So please know you can still donate today, but if you have already donated this week, thank you so much for all your support, and please know we're not giving up this fight. So I would like to welcome in, on the heels of that, our insider, Om Young-Misuk. We gave you a little pub before the break about your story, which we will talk about. Ooh. But you did just hear some folks at the ESPYs red carpet last night weigh in on who the better basketball team in Los Angeles will be. So I'm going to start asking you, where do you stand right now?
This is not going to be popular with Laker Nation, but I'm going to go with the Clippers right now. And these are the reasons why. I think the Lakers have a lot of good pieces, but new pieces that have to come together quickly. They also have a new head coach in Frank Vogel. The Clippers, the exterior pieces around Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, not only have been together, but they have great chemistry. Last year we saw it. The better team in Los Angeles clearly were the Clippers. They like playing together. Yes, the Lakers have gotten in a lot of new pieces, but I think Kawhi should fit in seamlessly with what the Clippers do. Obviously, there'll be low management for Kawhi, but Paul George, bring him in. He should fit seamlessly, too. And defensively, they are going to be so much better. Lakers cannot rely on their defense outside of Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee. That's why I'm going to go with the Clippers right now.
The Clippers' defense is going to be nasty.
So off the hook.
Nicety.
For
all the old school people out there.
It is going to be so much fun to watch. And that's the difference to me. The Lakers, the back end of that roster, you've got Anthony Davis is a really good defender. Avery Bradley, really good defender. LeBron when he wants to play defense. And then I'm not sure on anybody else there. The Clippers have Kawhi and Paul George and Lou Williams to go get a bucket whenever they need one. They are loaded, and they've got Doc, who has been through every possible scenario there is, already running the show. I don't even think this is a question. The Clippers, if they're healthy, to me, guys, they're going to win it all.
And the Clippers also, look, they're going to be drama. It's going to be a circus for the Lakers. The Clippers, they have none of that. They added two superstars, essentially kept a playoff team intact. I mean, they've got the best bench in the league. It's mathematically impossible. They had number 1 and 2 in the sixth man of the year voting.
And he was the leading scorer on their team, but the sixth man, it's incredible.
And then, like you said, their two superstars come in, and they are about their business, dominant two-way players. Pat Beverly, the pit bull. I mean, it's going to be so tough to score against those guys, and they're going to be able to light it up. The Clippers go into this season as the favorites in the NBA.
It is going to be interesting to see these two teams duke it out, obviously. Sometimes supreme talent overrides chemistry, right? The Clippers just have both, so that's going to be...
Exactly.
Do we have a nickname, by the way, yet for what we're going to call the Clippers defensively, or sort of as a...
Ooh, that's a good one.
Maybe Lock City instead of Lob City?
Ooh,
I like that one.
There we go.
Print
the T-shirts, baby.
Print the T-shirts.
Yeah.
Boom, I like it.
You better get the patent on that.
I was going to say this is the summer project for the jump, but it doesn't have to be. Tim has already locked it down. There we go. So earlier this week, a report surfaced that the Lakers do plan to start LeBron James at point guard this season. Here is what Frank Vogel said about that yesterday at Summer League.
There's no decisions made on our starting lineup. No imminent plan to start LeBron at the point guard spot. A lot of different lineups and combinations have been discussed, but it's really way too early for any of that. He'll be a primary ball handler in our system the same way he has been his entire career, but we're certainly not going to ask him to do anything that he hasn't done his entire career.
I mean, look, we're in a little bit of a positionless basketball era enough that it doesn't really matter what he's listed at on the sheet. It's such a funny reverse, though, right? Because last summer we sat on this show and heard the Lakers saying, he's not going to handle the ball that much. We're going to take the ball out of his hands. He's not going to bring it down the court. Now we're like hearing reports, LeBron could just be the point guard. I mean, what do you think of that?
Well, look, I think the Lakers are considering all their options, and they're discussing it out. I think LeBron, without a doubt, is going to handle the ball a lot this season, and they know that. The question is, if you start LeBron James at point guard, which would allow you to start Kyle Kuzma at small forward, Anthony Davis power forward, and then either DeMarcus Cousins or JaVale McGee at center, and then, you plug in the shooting guard, whether it's Danny Green or Avery Bradley or KCP. Their issue is who covers the point guard, who's going to defend the point guard position and the shooting guard position, and that's where I think they get into a little bit of trouble. How they finish, they could finish very much that way. But I think starting-wise, they are trying to figure out what they need to do. And also, I think they're looking at what do they do with Kyle Kuzma? Is he better coming off the bench as their sixth man? And I think there's going to be a lot of load management for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So Kyle Kuzma, even if he does start the season off the bench, will end up being starting quite a bit too because of those guys resting.
Well, Tim, Rajon Rondo has come a long way since you covered him in Dallas. But still, you got to think that they don't want to give him too much. Talk about load management.
Yeah.
You don't want to take him. I mean, he's had injury issues overall for, a few years now, right? Consistently. That they want to make sure that he's not. I mean, he can't be taking starting point guard minutes, right?
No, but again, the question is not, is LeBron going to be the primary ball handler? It's who's defending the opposing point guards, especially in the Western Conference when you're dealing with Damian Lillard and Steph Curry and Mike Conley and, go on down the list. Maybe Russell Westbrook, depending on where he is. And you can't ask LeBron to defend opposing point guards. So, is Avery Bradley in the starting lineup? His position on offense is he's the dude who's making everything happen. We'll call it whatever you want. Who he's guarding is really what matters in terms of figuring out what lineup you start.
As far as LeBron at point, all he's got to do is say, give me the ball. I'm running the show. So Frank, I like Frank a lot. He can say whatever he wants right now, but when push comes to shove, LeBron's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. He always does. He's going to make the plays. It's exactly what Tim and Ohm said, though. They need to figure out what they're going to do defensively. And my biggest concern about the Lakers isn't that LeBron's going to have a better year and AD's going to get rolling early. It's how is that team going to defend top to bottom. I just don't see that, although Vogel has a history of getting the most he can out of teams on the defensive end.
Those teams, though, were often younger players.
No doubt.
Which sometimes is the key to strong defense. You mentioned Boogie or JaVale McGee and kind of where they were going to go at center. We recommended your story on Boogie before the break. We'll actually keep talking about it throughout for the next couple of segments. But I wanted to ask you, where do you think they're going to play? And also, how do you see the AD pairing working out? Just because, again, we're getting the Boogie and the Brown reunion.
Still very much under consideration. And I think the Lakers are looking at, do they start DeMarcus Cousins? Do they start JaVale McGee? How do they pair who's starting at point guard? I think they're looking at these pairs to go around guys like Davis and LeBron. I personally think DeMarcus should start. You can bring JaVale McGee off the bench as another rim protector when Anthony Davis gets a rest. And then I think you can get Cousins going. I'd like to also see Cousins play a lot with that second unit, kind of like the Warriors did at times. That way you get him the ball inside, you give him his touches, because we don't know how much Boogie is going to finish games with the Lakers. And of course, Boogie wants to play as much as he can. And he said yesterday to the LA media, he's ready to prove everybody wrong once again. He likes it when people kind of doubt him, and he wants to show what he can do because he has to establish his market yet again for another year.
I like the roll of the dice by the Lakers here with Boogie because he is so motivated to show that he can do it. The issue I would have with him starting is anybody who watched the Warriors last season, guys, they attacked DeMarcus Cousins instantly. Everybody went at him defensively.
Of course, the Lakers have Anthony Davis.
Yeah, so that might help it out a little bit. But I think him coming off the bench, giving that group a big offensive spark will be huge for what Frank Vogel and his staff want to set up.
Yeah, the Warriors have Draymond Green. He's not a bad defender either. I like the idea of Boogie as a backup. I shouldn't say as a sixth man. I think that way you can manage the guy's minutes. Obviously, he's dealt with major injuries over these last couple of years, and really run that offense with the second unit through him. I mean, Boogie Cousins can bully backup centers in this league. And I think if he would embrace that role, he could be a sixth man of the year candidate.
I mean, I don't mind seeing him and AD play together. We saw some time in New Orleans where first it looked like maybe they were kind of getting in each other's space in the paint. Obviously, all the concerns we had when they made that pairing. But I like how Alvin Gentry worked them into playing. Boogie, of course, drifted toward the outside more, which I liked. You mentioned he wants to play 82 games in your story. I would caution against that. I mean, we saw with Joel Embiid this year. He wanted to prove to everyone, I am not fragile. I am not going to get injuries. We heard reports that he was kind of overpowering the staff of the Sixers because he was so determined to play. They were like, all right, just let him. If he had load managed more, it is hard not to see him being healthier during the playoffs. And it was just a bounce or two of Kawhi Leonard's shot. If Joel Embiid had been healthy for a couple of those games, you kind of think that maybe the Sixers could have gone a lot further in these playoffs.
Boogie says the quad is 100%. And I think, look, if he did an interview with Spectrum yesterday, you can clearly see in his face he's lost weight since the season ended with the Warriors.
He can move again.
Yeah. And I think because he's been injured so much and he's been rehabbing so much, he has just stayed in that mode, basically, of just continuing to work and work. He's hungry. He's motivated. I heard he's even on a new diet, I think. So I think DeMarcus Cousins is going to come in. He said he's ready to come into training camp in full force. The question is, you're right. I think the Lakers have to figure out a way to kind of hold him at bay, temper expectations a little bit for him because he's going to want to play all 82 games. And with this Lakers, not just DeMarcus Cousins, you look at their entire roster, there's like 7 guys 28 and over, many of them over 30. These guys are built for the playoffs, not for the marathon and the sprint to get to the playoffs. And that was another reason why I think I had the Clippers a little bit above the Lakers, because they don't have a lot of young legs that can really kind of carry the load when AD's sitting out or when LeBron's sitting out or eventually Rondo is going to need rest. Those guys are all going to need rest. The Lakers are going to have to be really smart about how they're going to find rest for guys and not all in the same time.
This is going to be a fascinating story to just keep track of across the league this year, because you heard me, if you followed the show, I've asked Adam Silver twice in 2 separate interviews, hey, Kawhi Leonard says the reason that he made it through the finals is because he took so many games off during the regular season. He actually called them practice games. Do you think other stars are going to take that cue? And I don't see how they're not, right?
He's changed the narrative. Kawhi has changed the narrative for the league. No longer does anyone think, oh, got to play 82, because we just watched Kawhi do exactly what he did, do everything he needed to do to get to that point, and then win the title.
And this is why we're hearing the league talking about finally about maybe shifting the schedule. I will still say, though, don't expect all the stars to rest on Saturday night, because they made sure that's never going to happen again.
Those practice games don't have practice prices.
Don't not have practice prices. Almost going to stick around because we're going to take a quick break. I'm so sorry, but we're going to discuss the roster that the Lakers front office, if it is built good enough to validate all the drama that led up to it. Keep it locked.